Yield to Mr. Brady.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Galvin, we welcome you in your new capacity to the Joint Economic Committee hearing on unemployment numbers. Of course, we know you well from your appearance at prior employment hearings and as a dedicated BLS employee for many years. We appreciate your service and look forward to your testimony. We also welcome the members of your staff. You know, these new jobs numbers are encouraging, long overdue, but encouraging. The unemployment rate going down slightly is as well, but I have to caution you, it masks an underlying weakness in our economy. Fewer Americans are actually participating in the workforce than in almost 28 years. The labor force participation rate at 63.7% hasn't been this low since March of 1983. The labor market simply isn't recovering fast enough, considering especially how depressed it has been. By comparison, at this point, 31 months in the Reagan recovery, we'd already added 8.7 million new payroll jobs. Today, however, the U.S. economy at best is uncertain, stopping and starting. We are still 6 million jobs short of what we were before the recession began. Labor force participation, as I said, is the lowest in decades, and yet unemployed workers still account for more than 8% of this shrunken workforce. I think whatever claims the President has made about how much worse the recession has been, his policies haven't stimulated the economy. We now have a huge federal debt, continuing large deficits, and again, a stop-and-start, uncertain job growth. More than 2.5 years have passed since the recession formally ended, yet real GDP growth is now expected to decline this year from a less than stellar 2.8% fourth quarter of last year. Contrast, we averaged over 6% economic growth during the first 10 quarters of the Reagan recovery. Business in America is still hoarding cash, as it still holds investments below what it was before the recession began, and is still not materially stepping up hiring despite what the new payroll job numbers say. Well, consider the chart behind me. The top line, the green line, shows hires, and the bottom line, layoffs. The huge churn in this chart is striking. Over 4 million hires and 1.7 million layoffs, an image quite different from that of simply looking at net job changes. The key observation here is that the hires still remain where it was during the middle of the recession. With all the money the White House and members of Congress have spent to stimulate employment, hires are still down about 1.5 million per month from before the recession. In that light, the 243,000 payroll jobs gained today just aren't that impressive. The magnitude of annual benchmark revisions, the most recent of which BLS is introducing with today's report, only underscores this problem. The low hires help to explain why labor force participation is down. If hiring has not risen in well over 3 years, with a huge pool of unemployed competing for jobs, then why stay in the labor force? They're simply dropping out. The unemployment rate and the payroll jobs numbers are important statistics, but they don't reveal the full extent of the problem that America faces. The President's current actions and proposals, my view, are feeble attempts to lift a $15 trillion economy, and with the equivalent of matchsticks at the same time, it is tightening regulations, imposing an avalanche of new regulation, thwarting the biggest shovel-ready projects such as the Keystone Pipeline. Threatens to raise taxes, all the while adding to our national debt with continued undisciplined deficit spending. Strong private investment and job creation requires a balanced regulatory environment that actually encourages operation of the free market economy and a tax environment that engenders expansion, not retrenchment. The President is working against this free market economy with his policies, undermining it with subsidies and special favors in some areas, and harshly constraining and punishing it in others. That will cause anemic growth, and this labor chart shows it. According to the CBO, a slowing economic growth will cause the unemployment rate to rise this year and next. The Congressional Budget Office projects unemployment rate will hit 8.9% in the fourth quarter of this year and over 9% next. Americans are eager for work and willing to work hard. I think the economic policy of our President has failed. We need a change in course. Hardworking taxpayers deserve better, and the federal government needs to get out of the way so private job creation and hiring can accelerate. Mr. Galvin, look forward to hearing your testimony. Yield back.
Thank you very much. And now